Hey out there, welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Tea with Nikki and NYC. And we are going to be sipping on some rooibos and looking at some real estate numbers for the month of July. So even though, yes, I know the title is, August 2024, but as you know, statistics are backwards looking. They're lagging indicators. So let's check out what was going on with sales and rentals in Manhattan and Brooklyn for the month of July 2024. All right. Let me bring up my stuff. Let's see if this is going to work out for us. And oh, yes, there it goes. There we are. All right. And I'm going to drop down to right here so that way you folks can pay more closer attention to the numbers. All right. So for the month of July, we saw a nice year-over-year uptick in contracts signed, which was really, kind of fantastic news. Less impressive, of course, was a month-over-month decline, but that's actually to be expected this time of year. That is typical of seasonality. Sellers will be very pleased to see this next set of numbers. So the price per square foot up 8% compared to last year and up 10% versus June. This was due to some higher price listings that got sold during the time period. And as far as active listings, and a little bit of good news for buyers as well. Inventory is higher this go around compared to the way it was last year this time. So that's some good news. However, on a month over month basis, not surprisingly, inventory has declined, but again, that is fairly typical of seasonality. All right, so let's jump over to Brooklyn. All right, so looking at Brooklyn, things were just a little bit different over there. Signed contracts were actually down, both on an annual basis as well as on a monthly basis. Brooklyn is a bit more sensitive to the issues with interest rates. So this isn't too surprising. So the combination of higher interest rates plus seasonality, this result isn't that surprising. In terms of price per square foot, and kind of level both on a month basis as well as an annual basis, because as you can see, the price declined by 2% compared to last year this time, but it rose 2% compared to the prior month. Now, in terms of active listings, even though listings went down compared to the previous month, they were actually up substantially compared to last year this time. So that is extremely welcome news for a lot of Brooklyn buyers who otherwise have really been struggling when it comes to finding just really options. All right, so this is really, really great news for buyers. All right, so now we are going to jump over to rentals. And yes, I'm very excited because I tried to adjust these graphics and hopefully you can see the numbers better compared to previous sessions, but we'll see when I post the replays link, so fingers crossed. All right, in terms of leases signed, this is a bit of a surprise. They were down on an annual basis, up on a monthly basis. Again, typical of seasonality is that, the rental market tends to heat up in the summer along with temperatures. But yeah, that year-over-year decline really caught a lot of us off guard. It was quite surprising. Median rent, this might be why we saw leases go down, because median rent kept on going up. So it was up by 4% compared to last year this time, and up just a little smidgy compared to June 2024. Now, in terms of active listings, though, there's still some good news for renters. So as you can see, there was an increase compared to the prior month, and it really jumped compared to last year this time. So renters this year, even though prices are higher, they are at least in a better position than people were last year who were looking. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. I wouldn't say, again, because of how high prices are, I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, great news for renters, but it's not all bad. Let's put it that way. All right, so now then let's also kind of come over and look at average rents. So for studios, you'll see $35.43 for 1 bedrooms, $4,747 for 2 bedrooms, $6,865, and for 3 bedrooms, $10,205. Hold on, let me sip on this for a little bit, because yeah, that's a really eye-popping number. I know. But keep in mind, these are averages, so they are easily skewed. So if you have like a bunch of rentals, like say, take the 3-bedroom category, right? If you have a bunch of rentals that are happening at the $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 range, then it's not going to take much to drag that overall average up if during that same time period you have a rental happening for $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 per month. And those have been happening. They happen with a lot more frequency than some people realize. So remember, when it comes to these types of numbers, we're just looking at overall trends. So if you're on the verge of having to look for a new rental, don't be too terrified by these numbers, okay? All right, let's hop over to Brooklyn. Check out what was going on in that rental market. So leases signed, Brooklyn was seeing a lot more activity compared to Manhattan in terms of increases on both an annual as well as a monthly basis. So as you can see, July they were up by 10%, and compared to June they were up by 13%. With median rent, sorry people, it has kept on going up. It was up 2% compared to last year this time. Remember, don't get mad at me, I don't have anything to do with that. But at least the median rent actually ticked a little bit downward compared to the prior month. Now, when it comes to active listings, renters, you do actually have some good news. So not only are listings far higher than they were last year this time, and that's thanks to several rental projects like finally coming online. They're also, we also saw a month-over-month boost in listings and stuff. Again, fairly typical of seasonality, but good news nonetheless. Switching over to see those averages, and again, same thing in terms of Manhattan. When you look at these numbers, don't let them freak you out too much. They're just intended to show overall trends, especially when you look at that number for studios, 3,238. This is because certain areas such as downtown Brooklyn actually have a lot of studio listings, and a lot of them tend to be in doorman buildings. So and just the area just has still been on a development tear. So that one area really has a lot of power to drag that average up for that particular category. But I would say kind of the rest of these are pretty much spot on for borough-wide. And again, this is borough-wide. You're going to see huge variations depending upon which neighborhood you're looking at. This is just giving you a general sense of what the trends are. And the trend is that, prices going up. All right, so let me have another little sip of my tea because we have to wet the whistle before we get in our takeaways. All right, so what can we take away from all of this? The rental market in Manhattan, some surprising signs of softness. Prices are still increasing, but they may be moderating. Hi, New York Construction Group, great to see you on here. The prices are still increasing, but they may actually be moderating. Don't get too excited. Unclear if this is the start of any kind of trend. We'll have to see how August numbers shape up. In both boroughs, though, there's definitely a much better inventory situation going on compared to last year this time and compared to the prior month. So at least as a renter, when you're looking, your prices are still going to be not so great, but at least you're more likely to have more options while you're looking. And that does make a difference because it means you'll probably be a little bit less harried in terms of your decision making, like as far as your timing. Like you'll still have to make really snap decisions on the spot for super desirable listings, but if you're more flexible with your requirements, things won't be quite as hectic or and frustrating for you. Maybe just a little bit less because there's more options. In terms of sales, we should expect a continued slowdown due to seasonality. Because think about what a lot of people do in August. They travel, right? So a lot of people are gone, or either they're just, not really out there, hunting, pretty hard for a home. The home buying decisions tend to take a back seat for everybody except for like the absolute most, super motivated person. So I do expect to see fewer sales on a month-over-month basis for the month of August. However, I do think that we are actually going to see a year-over-year increase thanks to steadily declining interest rates. And by the way, in case you haven't heard, the buzz is that the Fed is looking to probably cut that benchmark rate in September, which if it does, that's going to have a hugely positive impact on mortgage interest rates. So definitely look out for there. look out for that. Inventory in Brooklyn is looking far better than it has in a very, very, very long time. So that is excellent news for buyers. It is finally getting back up to its levels that we would previously see historically for the borough, so that's good news. Manhattan inventory is starting to shrink, but that's actually thanks to buyers going out there and actually scooping it up, but there's still lots of opportunities out there. So in general, you know, if you've been kind of knocking around the idea of your home search, now's a really good time to reconsider kind of picking it up, especially after Labor Day. And of course, if you want to talk about that, just shoot me an email, send me a message, you know, here on Instagram, because, you know, I'm here. That's what I do. All right. Well, thank you folks so much for taking the time to join me this evening, and I will see you next time. Bye.